was a report, audited report, tabled in Parliament, and I can't get an answer. But I'm still waiting on that one. I don't want to say they haven't tabled it, but I cannot get a report.
Have you asked for it?
Yes, I've asked for that. Right now, I'm dealing with the speaker himself, and he promised to get back to me. Okay? When last it was tabled. Because you as a company is irresponsible not to account to the people, and now you're in trouble, you go into the people. That is wrong. It's unethical. And it shows that you lack respect for Dominicans. We, the people, have to demand respect. How are you asking us to pay you? Last month you come to us. This month, some of us 50%, some of us 300%. We reviewing it with you. This is not how utilities function. A utilities function because utilities are important to the economy of the country. We need water. The WASCO must have money for the water. But if they're mismanaging the money, if there's mismanagement and there's fraud or anything in the WASCO, we have no idea what's going on, but they're coming to us. And Matt,
what about those who said, oh, I think some of the comments from the company itself, we have not had an increase for how many years?
Well, if they haven't had an increase for how many years, there's no problem with that. It means that they were managing their expenses and that they were meeting the responsibility of the Act, where they have, I forget which section of it says, that they're responsible to ensure that the money they receive can meet and deliver the services in an economic and accountable way. Okay? So it means that they were meeting their expenses. You cannot tell me you running a company and you have a board and they in deficit and you're not seeking to do anything. Remember, they used to sell water. You hear them saying they're going to sell water to cruise ships, man? They invested millions of dollars to bring water, I think in Portsmouth, I think in Woodbridge Bay.
I think there was
and one right there by Fort Young to sell water to cruise ships. I never heard them say that. But it's unfortunate that they listed 90 in the Chronicle, in the Sun.
Chronicle?
So on May the 3rd, the Chronicle on May the 3rd, okay? At a press conference they listed a total of 90 point something million dollars going back, I think as early as 2040. But they failed to tell us their present income, how much of that it can service. But they mention figures.
But it's clear they're having difficulty in making payments for loans.
I don't have a problem with that, man. But if you're having difficulties paying your loans, you should have approached the people and maybe form a consumer protection group that meet with them to come up with something that is reasonable. Because, quite frankly, they are servicing that they have to be able to service that from the present income.
Mm-hmm.
So the issue is, what amount of debt does the audited statement say that you need a sugar daddy for? You need the people to step up. It could be like we had.
But in this case, I think they referred to the sugar daddy, quote unquote, as the government of Dominica. So the government of Dominica was given or subsidizing all the time.
But the government of Dominica brags on the revenues from the CBI.
Yes.
What the WASCO is talking, $90 million, is a joke for the CBI money that they get in. Okay?
Yeah.
If we have a problem with the Water Authority, there are ways and means of utilizing the resources of CBI. Dominica is the only place, I think, that the CBI is not controlled by a group of financiers. It seems to be one or two people managing the CBI money. And they
have the wrong priorities in that way.
But Matt, I just read Antigua is now giving retirees an extra $1,000. Okay? And so the economy needs to be managed properly. and Dawasco needs to be managed properly. But you cannot tell me the way you're approaching the price increases is, Matt, let me tell you, when I total the number of customers they have, remember you said 15,000 to 23,000 customers.
Yeah.
Every month, if they meet their projected target, they will be getting 850,000 about. Okay? To service a debt that they haven't told us what the total debt is. They told us the loans they took. So if they're servicing the loans of $90 million, the debt should be maybe 40, 50, because some of it was grant, some may not. So let's suppose their true debt, because we don't have the statement to tell you what their debt is. If you have audited statement, it will show us what their debt is. So that $850,000 can write it off in a few months, 10 months, 20 months, or what. But there's nothing like that. But you come into the people. You cannot do that. You have to be more responsible as a company, a public utility. You cannot come to the people, tell them you have $90 million. I'm going way back to 2014 or before. Okay? No, that is not how you must pay more respect to the people. And if you have to present statements to the House, to the minister who has to present it, it doesn't say the minister may or have to approve him. It says as soon as the statement of account mentioned, okay, in one above, which says to prepare about okay, in one above, it's audited, because in one above says it has to have the accounts. As soon as it is audited in accordance with subsection 3, which is a certified accountant, the company shall, not the company may, the company shall send it to the minister, shall send to the minister a copy of any report made by the auditor, because he may have a management report and another report. Okay? Then, and the minister cannot keep it to approve. He shall lay a copy of the audited reports before the House of Assembly so the people can have access to it. Now, if we have access to it, we can say, but Dawasco, you only have 20 million. How you coming to us for $800,000 more? If you have $50 million. So there's no basis that we have to counter what they're asking for. But it's so unreasonable that we have to tell them that they have to respect Dominicans and give them audited statements so that we can know, one, you can service comfortably a debt of 20 million. But you have 50 million, so $30 million, you want to give a 10%, a 5% increase in rates. Okay, but they put a levy on us, Matt. I think they call it a water access levy or something like that. Of $35 or $15, which is 50% of what the low income pays, or a small business who doesn't use much. Let's suppose you have a little hairdressing shop. You don't use the minimum amount. You pay for the $3. You understand what I'm telling you? Okay?
So the increase is much too much.
Well, it's unreasonable to some, especially small business and the homes. It's too high. Okay? Some large businesses who may have a water bill of $60,000 or $40,000 or $10,000, if they pay a 10%, okay, it's not much, or 8% or 7.5%. But to just come up with a figure, bam, small business pay $100, that is 300% more than what they pay in, a matter of fact, 330% more. So we have to be, as a consumer group, we must have individuals who take these requests seriously, because there's a Public Utilities Commission, which the minister, if the minister just accepts that first of all, I'm very disappointed in a minister who would accept that. I'm very disappointed in any minister. And if the minister accepted Dawasco's request, Dawasco has to make a request to the minister for an increase to meet their cost. But if he accepted it like that, I know he get his 30% increase.
But I've never heard one minister or the minister responsible speaking to that issue.
But they don't look at that's my concern. They have not examined the impact on some small businesses. You have a little place where you selling bigs and whatever. That's a small business, you know, man. You go into ads, make them pay $100 when they have a pipe, a sink, and a washroom. You understand what I'm telling you?
Mhm.
This is 300% you charging them more. This is unheard of in utilities, and any public utility commission would ask them, hey, review that thing. And if we reach a stage where the company is so bad that they never reported to the people and that they have accumulated a debt of $50 million, more than they can pay, then we have to deal with that in a very serious way. How can a company not report to the people and come to us because they have a $50 million that they cannot pay? They cannot service. You don't run a business that way. You don't run a country that way, especially a utility. You don't run it that way. So we have to be accountable. We have to hold our statutory organizations accountable to us, the people. And if they have to lay a report before the House, they better lay it so that the people can know, hey, they're having problems. Because that is not in my interest if the Wasco cannot supply water because they don't have money to close them down. You know, no, that's not my interest. My interest is that they have to be accountable and show what they're doing. And if there's a problem, how you can better solve it, because they may be doing something, but if they have a group of persons who they call in a consumer organization set up either with political parties, unions, and those kind of things, then they can find a solution. Remember when Labour Party couldn't pay the debt and we came up with a stabilization fund?
Yeah.
They wanted the civil servants to pay. I took it up, myself and Curtis Augustus, and we brought everybody in until it became a fund that everybody paid. And after 5 or 6 years, we paid that and it was done. So if the Wasco reach in a situation where there's a debt they cannot manage, they cannot put a burden on the consumer for indefinitely, and especially because that is mismanagement. Is mismanagement by them, because we should know that they're having a problem now. 10 years down the line, 7 years down the line, 5 years down the line, but we're not seeing their statement, so they're having a problem and they're keeping it between themselves. And that's not how you run a utility.
So you're saying basically that they're not accountable.
They're not accountable and responsible, because water is an essential item for the people. And the utility must be properly managed. And if their costs over, the Act speaks to that, you know. The Act tell them, let me see if I can get the section for you. The company shall so exercise and perform its function as to ensure that its revenues are not less than sufficient to pay compensation and all those sort of things, meets its operational costs. They have an obligation to us to do that. And that didn't happen this year. The chairman told us it's 5 years down the line, we observe, and they're coming to you now. And he hoped that we will accept it because it's not money they're going to make. Some words to that effect, you know.
And if they make extra money, they'll put it in the emergency fund.
No, he said the Prime Minister something fund. He specifically noted what fund. He said, by Matt.
Anyway, Michael, somebody's saying there, while you look for that specific piece of information, Matt, the rate increase the Wasco announced was a tax for the simple fact that Etinoff said the size of the company was based on revenue and not volume of water used. That's a tax increase disguised as a rate increase. If Wasco was interested in raising the revenue, they would be able to recover the local bottled water industry, where a liter is going for $5. Means that the customer is willing to pay the same price for the bottle of water they would pay 500 gallons for at home. business sense would say, let's capitalize. Etinov has been there long enough, and there are no incentives to develop and be creative. That's what somebody's saying here.
Well, I understand what he's saying, but I'm dealing with a public utility and how they are irresponsible in terms of not.
But don't you think that it should
giving
be,
an account.
according to the point you made earlier, don't you think that the Wasco itself should be creative in trying to get more revenue?
But of course, I just mentioned to you they were selling to the cruise ships, and the water is going down to the sea. What have they done? Have they contacted the cruise ships when they come here? Are they asking cruise ships to come here and get water, and they will give it to them at a particular price? I didn't hear them mention increasing their income through sale of water for other countries who are having water. Look, St. Lucia having water problems. What can we do? Can we get 5 million gallon badges and take it to St. Lucia to assist them and sell it at a reasonable price that Dowasco could make 5, 10, or 20 or $40 million a year? These are the things that we have to look at. These are the things that Dowasco has to look at, because it's not just they used to do it before, Matt. They used to do it before.
Let's go back to the telephone at this time. Hello, yes, somebody wants to make a point. Are you there?
Good morning, Matt. Afternoon, Matt.
Good
afternoon, Michael.
Afternoon, yes.
You know, Matt, what Michael is saying is quite on point, but everywhere you turn with Dowasco, you're going to find a problem. When Mr. Etinov says, oh, the government has been putting money into Dowasco, yes, but where did the government get the money? Did they get it from UNICEF? Did they get it from, these organizations after Maria have been making that point. So there's no transparency with where the government is getting the money from. And there's no transparency with how much is going into Dowasco. Because, I know after Maria, many of the intakes were damaged, but we're not getting the figures on how much was spent. They're keeping us in the dark. And you cannot be considered responsible if you're not transparent or if you're not accountable. Responsibility can't come there at all. So we're dealing with an irresponsible administration. Now, in the sale of water, why is Gaston Brown going all the way to Trinidad? I said that this morning. Why is Gaston talking about going to Trinidad? Trinidad has problems. Michael, I read an article. It is not just St. Lucia that is having problems. They're saying all the Caribbean islands are having problems with water. That should be good news for Dominica. If all the Caribbean islands are having trouble with water, we know Dominica has rivers flowing to the sea. We could start a serious program of selling water. That should be good news for us. Why is that not good news, and why are they not taking advantage of it? And if Gaston is such a good buddy of Skerrit, why is he going all the way to Trinidad, which is bone dry anyway, to get water? What is really going on? Enough said.
All right, good afternoon. There's more telephone calls coming in. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Good afternoon, Mr. Astafan. Good afternoon, Matt. When Dowasco said they had a $990 million loan to repay, where did they get that loan from, and when did they take that loan, and from who did they take that loan? We never heard of that before. So can somebody clarify that for us, please? And on another note, we in Dominicans, we're taking too many things for granted. The government just shot down of $15 hike on us on birth certificates from $5 to $15, and everybody just take it like retarded. They just take it so. 5 cents and 25 cents going up on gas in Guadeloupe, and just the people protesting that. But here, $15 on a birth certificate from $5, and what I can do now, I want the birth certificate. I don't know why we so docile in that country. What happened to us? Something really wrong with us, Matt. And the small businesses, they should get together and decide, even to form how you call that, a new, something like
an association?
An association, and decide, well, we're not going to pay that. Something have to be done about that. But everybody will just sit down. But I can't do no, so it is. That's why Tabo's stupidity will always keep chopping down, finger our fruit, because we just lying down and play dead. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Somebody's saying here, Matt, good morning. People are suffering in Dominica, can't even buy basic food stuff like bread and sugar to send their kids to school. Where are they supposed to find an extra money? Bills just going up on people, and they're remaining very quiet. Any comments now at this time? Yes, go ahead.
What I would like to say, Claire, she asked a question. Their debt, I think, is slightly less than 90 million, but they listed $90.7 million in the Chronicle of different loans that they got. And if you go through the Chronicle, there's a $7.7 million for one thing, another $10 million. But they didn't mention the 100 million pounds I heard they got from the British after Erica. That in itself, to me, I read somewhere where there was $100 million after Erica that was promised or proposed for Dominica, or they got. No mention was made of that as grant in the Chronicle. But I got the figures in the Chronicle of May the 3rd, I think. Yes, May the 3rd. And it lists them there. $7.7 million, okay, in bid to alleviate its current debt of $7.7 million owed to entities as the National Bank, that's Dominica Social Security, and the Caribbean Development, as well as to fund the upgrade of various equipment and ensure the company's sustainability effective June 1st, 2011 customer. Okay? And address, so they list them there. If you go through that, they list them inside there, the different things, what they got before Erica and after Erica. But they're not telling us what their present debt is and how can they service it. Because it is clear that if they're having cash flow problems, there's a given amount of debt they can service, and what they cannot service, how they can seek to service it by getting government. Government has CBI money. We can take what you call a fund that we pay a 20% increase or 10% increase for 5 years just to clear that. You take a loan, the loan is X amount to clear the debt that they cannot service, and after 5 years, we free up that. Okay? But we need to be clear as a group that DOWASCO is accountable. The money that they get in, they account for it properly. Okay? And that is not being given to us. We're not looking at the audited statement from the auditors, and they're not being.
So again, why is the WASCO not presenting those figures?
Well, I'm telling you that the House of Assembly said they would get back to me. The manager told me he will seek the approval of the board to make it available to me. But it's public information. So why does he have to seek the board's approval? If you're going to come to us for funds, I mean, they must have a consumer group who is interested, because not everybody understands the ramifications, especially those who cannot afford. So we can set up a group of consumer protection persons that can look into that, because the minister and the prime minister and them figure they helping poor people and they love poor people. But look at that dilemma at the hospital. Look at the dilemma to feed their children and send them to school. You understand? So we know it's a problem. People keep telling us. I go to the hospital, Matt, and I see the problem firsthand. So I know we're having problems. And a lot of people say that the statement he made was to divert us from DOWASCO. I don't know if that is true. The DOWASCO issue that coming up at the end of the month. But they're making a mock out of everything. You know, and no, Matt, we have certain things that are being done not following regulation. You're building an airport, you don't have thing. You don't have development plans. You don't have analysis. I knew from 2 of the reports that you couldn't use the material you were taking out to build the airport in the Wesley area because you cannot compact the clay. Now I understand they're mixing the soil with cement. I don't know how true it is. I'm just hearing rumors. But Matt, we need to do things properly. Okay? DOWASCO need to have a group of them focusing on maintaining the water table. Because if other islands don't have water, we can maintain our water table. That was done in 1935. I happen to have read a report and I lost that report. And if Lennox Honeychurch, you're listening and you have a copy of that report, please make a copy available to me. It's a report where Dominica water table was dropping, and what they did was they made farmers planting on slopes to put drains across so the water would go in the drains and replenish the water table. So farmers with their water wheels wouldn't have to go upstream when the water table dropped upstream. Okay, and that worked beautiful. Okay, and what they found out after, it would slow down the river when you have heavy rains, because when you block the river to enter the stream, it creates a basse. That basse now, the water in that basse seeps into the soil and replenishes the water table. When rain comes, that basse, the water have to slow down and the stones drop above as a natural defense. So you find that where you have water wheels on a river, the damage hurricane was less than where you didn't have water wheels. So they learned to protect the river and the water table by banking it. We need to start making basses. I mean, we could take the Roseau Valley and make basses go all the way up and a river bathing for tourists. You understand, Matt? These are things we can do as a country. But we work in Vetiver. There's no policy on water. What is Dowasco's policy on water and maintaining our water table?
All right,
and our forest?
Somebody's making a point here. Mr. Asafan is very right. If you have all that debt since 2014 and later after Hurricane Maria, here's billions of dollars donated for recovery. Why didn't they say something instead of just gloating of how much damage costs they got? There was never no mention of debt since 2014. Furthermore, something is not right with the management of Dowasco, because who is going to pay the millions owed by the Kalinagos, not the Kalinagos for sure. If someone else is managing Dowasco, avoid talking about the millions donated after Maria. If Dowasco even reporting the figures of how much, or is Dowasco reporting the figures of how much the Chinese damaging on their pipes, lines, and all these projects costing us a dime there. So there's a lack of reporting. I'm getting there from this text message from Dowasco. Talk to me on the telephone.
Matt, this is all part of Roosevelt Skerritt's breaking down of the institutions of Dominica. That's what it is. Breaking them down. They don't run as they were intended to be. There's no accountability. It's just vitae. And, when you challenge it, you're not getting anywhere. So he's getting away with whatever he wants to do. Now, Matt, in regard to the Kalinago people are already, like I said this morning, they don't have their copra anymore. Bananas is a problem. A lot of their products have gone down the tube. And now you're going to tell a Kalinago person he has to pay $15 more on the bill that he already cannot pay. And you know what these Matt, I am trying to not refer to the politicians like Mr. Skerritt referred to the opposition as bastards. I'm trying not to, Matt. But they promised the Kalinago people, they promised them free water, Matt, just before the elections. If you ask the Kalinago people, they'll tell you, yes, they were promised free water. Now you're raising it on them. And you heard Mr. Etinoff, the bills that they've accumulated are not going to go away. How are these people going to live without water, man? That's the question. After your politicians promised them they were going to get free water because they're indigenous people. Tell me how you're going to do that. The people must wake up and understand how they've been exploited and remove this government. Don't be fooled over and over by this government. Thank you, man.
And the chairman, Matt, said in one of his press conferences that if we get a storm and they do order spare parts, then Dowasco will not be able to replace any water thing damage. Okay? If that is the case, why are you waiting so late to come to the people? And why haven't you come to the people before with their statements? Because everything they quoted on the media as loans, they're talking about part grant, part loan. They're not telling you how much is loan, how much is grant. What you need is the statement, the sources of funds on the audited statement. Okay? So when you go to the people and you like, it's not a threat, but putting it in a situation where Dowasco is against the wall. DOWASCO should not wait for it to be against the wall to come to the people. Once you see their cash flows are making it difficult, they need to address water sales, they need to increase in revenue, and they need to address what is it we can do to minimize waste in the production and delivery of services. And these are some of the things that they have to do. But we're not seeing the audited reports. Quite frankly, the auditor it may be negative to them, so they don't want to put it there. I don't know.
Hello on the telephone.
Good afternoon, Michael.
Good afternoon. Yes.
Michael, I was listening to you there, and one of the things I admire about your contributions, you go to the material facts of the issue. And it is rather interesting that when you have a situation where I am hearing now that audit reports have not yet reached Parliament for discussion. And when I listen to the fact that the National Bank of Dominica is now restating its 2021 financial statements, I'm not getting off track. What I'm pointing out is this contributes to what we call the crisis of leadership or management that exists in the Caribbean. And it goes to our students who are coming out of universities and unable to implement effective management consistent with the JJ talking about modern age and technology. And our people cannot do that. The WASCO, as a kind of sub-company of the government, wholly owned by the government, everything that goes under it should come out and be placed before the Parliament. But these are not being done. We have a director of audit who every statutory body should be audited annually, and the report results presented in the Parliament annually. You have a company being audited. Nobody knows what is the result of the corporation. The public must now bear the cost of irresponsible, inept, and incompetent management. It starts from our government, which does not provide audited statements on the departments, on the government particularly, on the statutory boards. I recall when I was at the ETB, we were audited twice that I know of by the director of audit, then Mr. Robin, and then Mr. Lewis. And those audited statements were presented in the Dominica Parliament. Now we are not getting any accountability, any of the statutory body, none of the ministries. They come at the end of the year with a budget that they make a big speech, and there's nothing to follow. That at the end of a period, that budget should be compared with projected, actual, the differences explained, and the reasons for them, and how do we go about resolving those problems. But we don't have that level of competency in neither the statutory bodies nor the government. Why is that? Is it a state of confusion that must exist so that the people are bamboozled? I remember, when Mia Mottley first went to power, she told the people, she added, I think, like $20 or some kind of money to the people's bill, and tell them out of her kindness, she was taking off $5. This is the kind of gimmicks that these so-called leaders in the Caribbean is a leadership, a crisis of leadership and management throughout the Caribbean. Why is that? I have no idea. Suddenly, we had some of the most competent public servants in the region. Now that they have master's degree, and even doctorate, they have become less incompetent, less inept. This baffles me.
All right, I'll take you out on that note. Let's take another phone call. Thank you very much. I suspect it baffles a lot of people. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Yeah, good evening, good afternoon, man.
Afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah, Matt, there's a lot of dishonesty within the board of DOAS. The president he's not a fair person. He never comes up with the facts. We hear and I a couple back and forth already in some meeting that DOAS could call in the Portsmouth area. And he refused to answer the questions. Matt, do you know that some years ago that the government had a water project in Pennsville to redo the Pennsville water system? And they give the contract to a man that does not know nothing about plumbing. It took them how many years before they could commission that water system? Recently, after Maria, they did a new intake in Picard. It's almost up to the height of St. Kitts. You do not have water storage. You don't have no water storage. You don't store the water. The water comes direct from the intake. It runs to your house. If a little rainfall, the water is dirty. So in a meeting I asked, but why would you put an intake that high up in St. Kitts, and then you run back the pipe down in Picard area, and then to run back that pipe up the way, more oil back up Mont Espanol to feed the West Coast, whereas you could have taken that water supply from St. Kitts and run it down on both directions to go to the West Coast and back down to the north. I went as far as saying Ross University built a storage tank in Picard. After Maria, Ross had water. Why nowhere in that water? Ross never ran out of water because he built a modern storage tank. It had treatment plants and everything. And I tell you, look, you have an example of it right there. And for you to build a new water system, the same water system that you build, supplying Ross. And they never run out of water. They never had dirty water. So that is a lack of mismanagement and them just handling funds and nobody don't know. All how you pass on Portsmouth Road, you see a water bridge by here. And DOAS people passing up and down the road, they're passing in the water. All the time somebody will make a complaint, the water has it. So there are people that need to go. All the time you have those people that are the head of that company will be continue going on that road. And then the poor people have to end up paying for that.
Thank you. Let's take a break. We'll come back, Michael. Stick around.
You don't want to miss the first Dominica Economic Revival Summit 2024. Dinner on Wednesday, 4th June for only $250 EC, or the 2-day summit dialogue on Thursday, 5th June and Friday, 6th June. Free of charge, including lunch and snacks at the Jungle Bay Resort and Spa. See you there.
Hello, fellow Dominicans. Things are really not changing anytime soon. We hear you, we listen to you, and we are responding to your call. The Economic Revival Summit presents a top platform for presenters, powered by a diverse and stellar lineup of thought leaders, renowned experts, entrepreneurs, and business owners. This event complements a new approach by creating a forum to discuss, explore, and unpack major issues and top priority areas that provide informed viewpoints and perspectives to spearhead and restore confidence through a plan for a brighter future for you and your family. I am Glenroy Soso Coffee, and I endorse this economic summit. Join me and my fellow Dominicans and UWB candidates as we together plan to make your lives better. Remember, it's from June 4th to the 6th at Jungle Bay Resort. Thank you.
The Dominica Economic Revival Summit opening dinner and award ceremony is on Tuesday, 4th June from 7 p.m., where 9 outstanding Dominicans who have contributed to the country's development will be honored and awarded. There will also be live entertainment included, and all this for only $250 EC per person. This will be followed by the Dominica Economic Revival Summit on Wednesday, 5th June and Thursday, 6th June from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and which is free of charge and will include lunch and snacks.
Just received at ESA Trading Limited a wide range of disposable diapers. Your very favorite, world class. Giggles Babies Diapers, specifically designed for your baby's comfort. With stretchable elastic ties, cloth-like backing, super absorbent, and super strong. Available regular or pull-ups in small, medium, large, extra large, and super extra large. Prices as low as $5.50 per packet. Yes, you heard right. A packet of Giggles baby diapers for as low as $5 and plus Giggles baby wipes, 72 pack, only $3.95. 100 pack, only $5.95. And when it comes to adult diapers, ESA Trading Limited also has you covered. Giggles brand of adult diapers, super comfort, super absorbing, and super strength. Available in small, medium, large, and extra large, regular or pull-ups, and prices as low as $13.95 per packet. And keep
Welcome to the Westbridge Grill Bar and Restaurant on the Promenade. Come enjoy the most deliciously made roast stuffed bakes. It's extra delicious. And not forgetting the roast pork baked burgers. You must taste it to feel the full cabin flavor. And look, everybody is coming to the Westbridge Grill for freshly satisfying barbecue pork portions just coming off the grill. Bursting with flavor, mouth-watering, moist, and extra tender pork that never runs out. So come taste for yourself. Open 24/7 to satisfy your hunger. And the chilled beverages on point. We are located on the promenade. You just must come and taste the very well done stewed pork portions. When you finish, you're feeling well. Come and enjoy Wednesday's karaoke live on the promenade. To place your orders, telephone 615-8346 or 615-9023. So come check us out in the yellow and green building next to the Salisbury bus stop. Private dining on request. A full-fledged restaurant is right there on the promenade 24/7 and you'll be satisfied. Dominica, get ready as we engage in creating a roadmap for the island's future development. It will be healthy talk and lively debate.
We are beginning, of course, on the night of the 4th with the opening ceremony and awards dinner. I am happy to note that all of the nominees have been finalized. We have actually 9 outstanding Dominicans who will be awarded for their outstanding contribution to Dominica's economy in various areas of agriculture, music and entertainment, tourism, manufacturing, and so on, 9 different areas. We will also be conferring the award, Lifetime Achievement Award, to Mr. Philip Nassif, who passed recently, but who was a pioneer in Dominica as far as manufacturing is concerned.
It's time to restart, kickstart, jumpstart Dominica's economy on Nature Eye.
Will be worth our while.
Dominicans, are you ready? The 12th annual Dominican Diaspora Expo and the Crafts in collaboration with 767 Creations ME present a cultural infusion of Dominican sound and food industry and a market day with a different. Music by DJ Falcon and legendary Golden Drum Award winner, the one and only Levi Super L Low Black. On the 8th of June 2024, Creole breakfast will be served from 8 a.m. and the cultural exposure will start from 10 a.m. Chill at 767 Stuyvesant Avenue, Irvington, New Jersey. Yes, people, the official buzz of the Nature Isle. Dominican diaspora caterers will be displaying and marketing their own local-made products of arts and crafts, books and paintings, hair and body products. Dress up in your Creole wear to support your Dominican diaspora Creole community. The Dominican diaspora nurses will be doing blood pressure checks and peep talks. Lots of local foods and drinks. Cane juice will be squeezed right there on the spot. Live stream by TDN Caribbean Radio. Sponsored by Ruse Catering. 1347-994-5580. Well and smoked meat. 1-845-232-6202 and 767 Creations.e. For more information, call 862-248-9758. Remember to dress up in a Creole style. It's a cultural extravaganza. I'm that boy, I'm that.
Oh my God.
It's just around the corner. Yes, the countdown is on for the Grand Dominica Economic Revival Summit. Get your tickets, secure your tickets. Register today at 285-5585. The clock is already ticking. For the next few days, go to the summit website at www.da/econsummit.com. The final days for registration is Friday, May 24th. Remember, the clock is ticking, ticking.
Oh boy, 2:14. A lot of interesting developments. Now hearing what we've seen a lot of hotels going on around the place. Groundbreaking ceremony of a Cabrit's Marina. Promises after promises after promises. I'm sure we'll talk about that some other time. Michael, let's continue the discussion. Read the Wasco. Yes, go ahead.
Just imagine, the Wesley relocation of residents incurred a cost of $4.5 million paid by government. Why would they mention that? If government is relocating and they put that, that shouldn't be a cost to the consumers. Granted, the government is doing that, the government pays. But if you're telling me that you had to take a loan to pay, where's the audited statement to see if you did that work, where it came from? The government supplied it because you have a source of funds. So your expenditure, the government supplied the $4.5 million to relocate the water supply for the Wesley people. That is not a problem. But why are you quoting it as money you spent? Setback in the East Coast project. There's an East Coast water project. There's a setback. No explanation what is the unforeseen circumstances. Okay, road project of the primary water supply project. Again, no audited statements and report to clarify. No explanation of what this unforeseen setback were. Who is responsible? Okay, but they're telling us a loan of $6 million was taken because of the setback. If you're going to do a project and you have your pipe there and it takes some time, okay, you're paying the people and no work going down. I don't understand. Was it a poor design? Was it under design? Okay. But they say Ndawasco had to take a loan of $6 million. Okay, they're talking about another project for Mount Prosper where you get in money from the Basic Need Trust Fund. That money is grand. And then $1.2 million funded by government. Yes, but government has to fund new infrastructure. If I am selling land and lot smart, I have to put in electricity and water. Okay, so it's not a cost to Ndawasco. All Ndawasco have to do is hook me up, and they will charge me to bring the pipe to my my real estate property. So what are they putting that to the people?
On the telephone?
Are you mismanaging and pulling the wool over our eyes?
217, hello, talk to me. Wow.
Yes.
Sorry
Mark,
about that.
good
Sorry about
afternoon.
that. I know
Mark.
you've been waiting there on the line. Hello, talk to me.
Yes, good afternoon, Matt. How you doing?
Okay.
Good afternoon to you and your listeners, and good afternoon to my friend Michael.
Good afternoon.
Yes. I think Michael is making some very, very, very important points. And let me, Matt, just refer you and your listeners, as well as Michael. Last year, in June of last year, June 30th, 2023, one of your colleagues in the media business by the name of Richie Farrell did an excellent investigative piece. It was captioned, Dominica at risk of losing its freshwater resource. You guys can go online and I'm sure you might be able to get a copy of that. But an excellent piece. And in there, Richie held several interviews with a number of persons, areas, and some of the concerns that he addressed related to our watersheds. He also talked about this over-dredging of rivers as it affects the water supply. The whole question of water supply decreases and the catchment areas are not, what happens when the water supply decreases and the catchment areas are not treated on time. So he covers a number of areas. But in terms of what Michael is saying as it relates to information and I would say transparency, here's an interesting area in the report that Richie reported on. The Dominica Water and Sewerage Catchment Area Regulation number 13 of 1995 defines which area along rivers, streams, and lakes form part of a water catchment area. It places restriction on the activities in such areas. However, operations such as timber extraction and logging are allowed in protected areas under certain conditions. Dominica's sole potable water distributor, DOWASCO, has internal policies governing its operation. While the company is currently implementing elements of its water sector strategic development plan, more needs to be done to ensure its water reservoirs remain in full capacity. That's an interesting kicker there. Company officials said at the time when Richie, I guess, was doing that interview and asked for further information, company officials said that the water sector strategic development plan cannot be made to the public. Cannot be made to the public. So the questions remain. It begs the question, as Michael is saying, if this is a public utility, under the Act, they're required to lay their accounts to the Parliament audited. And then you're saying there that whatever water strategic sector strategic development plan that you are undertaking cannot be made available to the public. So herein lies the problem of information and transparency. You cannot, in the absence of information, in the absence of transparency, ask the consumer now to meet an increase. You must be transparent. If there is a strategic development plan that is undertaken, then why can't you share that with the journalist and say, well, this is what are some of the areas we intend to look into in the plan moving forward for the next 5 years, medium term, short term, long term. But you're saying it's not available to the public. So I think what Michael is doing there this afternoon is very, very, very important. I think it's time that, we get a little more serious about those things and hold those persons accountable to their feet. They are accountable to the people. So I just want to compliment Michael and to say to those listening that it would be interesting for them to look at this report. It was done, as I said, just in June of last year by Richie Farrell. Very good article. Dominica at risk of losing its freshwater resource. And he raised a number of concerns in that investigative piece. So again, good job, Michael, and I'm listening.
All right, thank you. Yes, Michael?
Well, Johnson, I'm appealing to DOWASCO.
Alvin.
Well, Alvin, yes. Alvin, boy, you couldn't be more on point because I forgot the plan and development plan that they think that it is classified, nobody should have it. Okay? And the reports, they get the board approval. I can see why they want the board approval, because the board thinks that it's in control, but they're not in control. They don't know what's going on. Because if you knew what's going on, you would make sure you would meet the regulation governing your tenure. Ensure that the accounts department of DOWASCO, the manager, have that report delivered to the minister on time, and that it is tabled to Parliament so that the people will know what you're doing. There's too many unanswered questions without no audited statement, and I would plead that members of Dominica who has time should see how they can form a consumer protection for utilities, because if that's the way our utility is going to operate, we're in trouble. Because look now, we have DOMLEC falling under the government control interest. And if they're managing DOWASCO that way, that is very critical. Very, very critical. We have to be very cautious, and we have to ensure that things are right. And somebody mentioned the issue of NBD and their annual report. But this is a serious thing, because the central governor should be the one managing that and ensuring that they report on time. So these are some of the things that raises concerns about what is going on in Dominica. Okay, so the consumers need to let their PAL reps know, and we need to let the minister know why did he approve those rates. And if he didn't approve these rates, why didn't he send it to the Public Utilities Commission? Now, I do not know who is the chairman of the Public Utilities Commission, but I should find out before the end of the week, because this rate is not fair across the board to the public. Okay? Some institutions will pay more than 30 to 300%, and others will pay a small percentage, less than 10%. That is not fair.
All right, let's see if we can go back to the telephone. Are you there, caller? Yes?
Yes, good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Hi, Michael. You answered a question that I've been asking myself ever since the issue came up. But I didn't think it was possible that a utility company could just announce that it has an increase in rates, where you answered that question for me. But there's one word you used that I think encapsulates the problem that you are facing. But I am almost certain, and if I'm wrong, someone will tell me I'm wrong, that statutory board in Dominica have to take the same oath to protect the laws and constitution of Dominica that other officers of the government have to take. And you mentioned something that hit me in my chest every time you said it. You said, they shall do something. They shall present a copy to the minister. They shall lay it before Parliament, which means that every time they don't do what the law says that they shall do, they are violating the oath of office. And the problem that you face now is that in Dominica, apparently, there's no mechanism available to the citizens to remind the government. It's not to take them to court, it's to remind the government there's something you are supposed to do that you didn't do. Apparently, there's a system in Dominica which requires you, Michael, if you want to bring to attention that you must pay money. It doesn't make sense that you have to pay money to remind somebody to do what they vowed to do. There should be a mechanism in the country that if the government forgets to do something, the citizens can go and fill out a form, and maybe at a minimal cost, if they want, which at all, I think the government should pay for that cost, and remind them, here's something that the law says, the law and the constitution says that you have to do, and you forgot to do it. And that, it seems to me, the problem that you are facing here. You have identified things that they swore that they would do. They stood before everybody and said, we shall support the laws of Dominica, and they don't do it, and there is no mechanism available to you without you paying money to a lawyer at some great cost to remind them to do what they must do. This is a very serious situation. It's much bigger than just the Wasco thing. It goes throughout the entire nation, that the way we're doing things, that people have no obligation to do things because there's no mechanism to make sure that they must do it because it's going to cost those who have to remind them something that they are not prepared to pay. Thank you.
Thank you. Hold on, Michael. Somebody's sharing some WhatsApp. Matt, there is no accountability. Everything is done, mentioned, and decided on a political platform. Yet, we the people must find the money when everything else fails. We cannot expect any improvements if we keep the same team in the management of Dawasco. It's obvious change is inevitable. It must be noted that change must come from the top. That is the government, the overseas operations of Dawasco. Man, change is a must. The PS, where can one find published financial reports of Dawasco? Man, where is the opposition leader? Where is her voice in all of this? Michael, you seem to be doing a very good job. You're waking up some
but Matt,
sleeping giants here.
I went on the internet and I found audited accounts for St. Vincent, right, St. Lucia, Antigua, St. Kitts. But I can't find for Dominica. You see? So it speaks volumes. Matt, another thing is the press is not totally free. Because normally in democracies, there's certain news media which focus on accountability of government when they have to report. In Jamaica, Trinidad, and so they do that. And they alert the people. They're consumer groups. So consumer groups are formed in the best interest of the country. Because if the Dawasco is mismanaged, they raise issues because we have to pay at the end. Not any government you have who mismanages the expenditure, at the end of the day, the people suffer. Okay? And and you can see how they operate. They operate with two tiers. Like they fail to give civil servants a 2 or 3% raise, yet they take in 50 and 30%. That speaks volumes of the nature of our governance structure and the persons in governance. Because how can you be a PS of an accounting officer and approve something like that? Normally, salaries for ministers are reviewed by a group of civic group. Our civic organizations and groups need to be more proactive. Okay, the free press, opposition parties to those things. I'm a member of the Freedom Party, and that's one of the things we're looking at. Okay, and these things. And if you feel as a consumer that this thing is wrong, and you go you want to injunct it so that they can give an account of what they have been doing with the money, you need to come up with $20,000-$30,000. It costs a lot of money to go to court, Matt. So how can we do those things in the interest of the people? Consumer protection organizations should have assistance from government to meet those costs, because it will reflect good on the government and good on the people. If your dishonest government, then you wouldn't like a consumer group who can come to you, who can and raise issues, and the money is there to pay for it. Okay, and this is a serious matter. And the last caller mentioned if it was costing persons working for this organization to meet the inefficiencies, and so you wouldn't have that going on. People have to be accountable. When the act says you shall, that means you have no other course but to do it. Okay, and that is a situation that we are at, and we have to address those things in a very serious way.
All right, let's go back to the telephone. Are you there? Yes. Good morning.
Yes, man.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give Mr. LeQuint an example, because he said it runs throughout the system. And the most graphic example that I can come up with in my brain is when the Minister of Security refused to admit to how many $1 million have been spent on lawyers for the prosecution of opposition members. and he claimed that it was a security issue. That's why he was not divulging the amount of money that they had paid for lawyers from Trinidad to come to Dominica. He refused in Parliament, Matt, in Parliament, and he refused, and there was no one to force him. I don't know if it's the job of the Speaker of the House to tell him, answer the question. I don't know if the Speaker of the House should have said that, but we know that the Speaker of the House has been castrated. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. We're going to come back, Dominica, after this.
It's another old school jam. Don't miss Island Classics, Caribbean Kaleidoscope Old School Jam on Friday, May 24th at 8 p.m. at JVC Event Hall, 4515 Stone Mountain Highway in Lynburn, Georgia, during Atlanta Carnival. This all-inclusive affair features great food, an open bar, and fantastic music by Dominica's own Impulse Band. Enjoy classic soca, reggae, zouk, karas, calypso, bouillon, and lots more. Tickets are only $100. At this spectacular event, Asa Banton will receive the prestigious Island Classic Ambassador Award for his outstanding work in promoting Dominican culture worldwide. A limited number of tickets are still available at myfedtickets.com. Secure yours right now for this ultimate jam of Atlanta Carnival. Don't miss out. Get your ticket today at myfedtickets.com. It's going to be an old school jam of a lifetime. See you in the place.
Hello on the telephone, yes? Caller,
Yes,
you there?
Matt, good afternoon, Matt. Good afternoon,
Good
Michael.
afternoon, yes.
Yeah, Matt, you see, I always try to remind Dominicans that when these public officers take an oath to uphold the law, Matt, and the Constitution, and they are not upholding it, they are violating the people's trust. And these people are not qualified to even hold any public office, man, because if you are the one that's supposed to uphold the law to keep our checks and balance in place, and you are the same one breaking it, man, what kind of society we going to have? Yeah, and I always have a problem with that, man. You understand? And that is one of the fundamental problems we have in Dominica, because there is no law, no constitution. So people do what they want, when they want. And another thing again, my Parliament, what they're getting paid for. These people is just a bunch of nincompoops in Parliament sitting and think it's a partisan thing. When you in government, you representing Dominica. But they go to Parliament maybe once or twice a year. And the rest of the time they spend it in CWO, promoting CWO and all kind of nonsense what cannot help develop people and make our society a better place. You understand? These people supposed to table that you'll never hear them challenge the minister. They just think it's an I thing. I have it. And that is a disgrace, because the voters, the public, you cannot have people like that representing you. I don't care which party they come from. You are not serving the party, you serving Dominica. You contesting hard for your party, but when you win, you have to serve Dominica, man. And I think we in a lot of problem every day saying that, because these people are not upholding the law, they're not upholding the Constitution. And when a pop Malay will steal a corned beef or a Vienna sausage, they are the one going in jail. They are the one getting punished. And there's big man in society that's committing a bunch of white-collar crime. They're just going scot-free like they're the hero. Thank you, Matt.
All right, thank you very much. We're here in the afternoon. It's 2:36, mister.
I just want to refer to, you see, Dawasco as a utility and an essential service to the people must have a fund created that for in case of a disaster. Okay, if a strategy. Okay, but I am listening to the chairman say, if there is a surplus fund, it will be diverted to the PS managed in the mandated emergency fund or invest in additional equipment for infrastructure. I think
Is that an emergency fund for who? For the Wasco?
no. I think the WASCO should have its own fund created from its revenue. It need to put some of its surplus in a fund to meet disaster. So if there's a disaster, it have $10, $20 million aside that they can call on, next day to see how they can get the hospital going, how they can get this water going hospital.
You remember that fund that was created for the airport and then it just disappeared to $200 and something?
Well, this is not a fund created for the airport.
No, I'm just saying, but there was a fund created for the airport and they used it for something else.
Matt, when you create a fund, there's a trust managing your fund. Who is managing the fund? Whoever took the money was managing the fund. It wasn't no airport fund, because if money was created for the airport, you have to go to Parliament. Matt, if you go to Parliament to create a fund to put money for an airport, and you're going to start and build the airport and there's no airport, you have violated the trust of the people. You go to Parliament to ask the people money to put, asking the people permission to put CBI money in an airport fund. And you take out the money without going to Parliament and seek permission. You're above the people, and you cannot do that. The Prime Minister is making a fool of himself, and the FS needs to recognize that she has a responsibility to control the funds of the people. If they're going to use it, go to Parliament and request to use for beta hurricane or disaster X amount of funds, because we don't have the resources. I don't have a problem with that, But when the opposition asks for the fund, say something like $83 or $86 in the fund. I mean, what disrespect. You were bragging there were $100 million in the fund after how many years? And all of a sudden you have $86. Who was managing that fund? Was it in the consolidated fund? And if it's in the consolidated fund, the FS has to give an account, not you. When you have to give an account, Lord have mercy, our money is at your disposal, and you're not going to the people to ask them to use the money I beg you to put for the airport. Similarly, you have 9 people arrested in, I think, 2017. When was it? February? Whenever. Okay? You have them come into court. All of a sudden, one join you, and you persecuting the others, and that one there. That's a violation of constitutional people's rights, because you cannot treat him differently because he supports you. And I'm not sure why the people affected has not got an injunction to stop that and to stop spending money to the Trinidadian people to pursue a matter which is clearly in violation of Section 13, I think, of the Constitution.
That's an interesting twist.
Yeah, we need to take our Constitution. Matt,
because you're persecuting one against the other.
For the same act, I was on the platform. They came outside my home, but they didn't enter my house. The same morning, they went by Bosu, okay? And they picked up Bosu. Now they never charge Bosu, and Bosu has a case against them for detaining him or illegal, whatever they did to him, and that hasn't been heard. So, but you have to understand that as a country, we need to operate within the law. And how can you, Section 13 say you can't treat people different for political things? Yet, one of them, my good friend, is now the speaker. He's not been pursued, but all the others are being harassed. Violation of the rights and violation of the Constitution, because the speaker shouldn't be treated differently than them. He's not above the law, and so they all have to be treated the same.
On the same charge.
So the magistrate should just throw out the charges.
Let's take a break. We'll come back down. Only Dominica. We're going to come back after.
It's another old school jam. Don't miss Island Classics, Caribbean Kaleidoscope Old School Jam on Friday, May 24th at 8 p.m. at JVC Event Hall, 4515 Stone Mountain Highway, Lynburn, Georgia, during Atlanta Carnival. This all-inclusive affair features great food, an open bar, and fantastic music by Dominica's own Impulse Band. Enjoy classic soca, reggae, zouk, karas, calypso, bouillon, and lots more. Tickets are only $100. At this spectacular event, Asa Banton will receive the prestigious Island Classic Ambassador Award for his outstanding work in promoting Dominican culture worldwide. A limited number of tickets are still available at myfedtickets.com. Secure yours right now for this ultimate jam of Atlanta Carnival. Don't miss out. Get your ticket today at myfedtickets.com. It's going to be an old school jam of a lifetime. See you in the place.
On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Matt, blessings to you, bro.
Blessings to you, blessings to you.
Matt, that is my friend. Then, is it the same Michael Astafan, that?
The same Michael Astafan.
Mr. Astafan, blessings to you, sir.
Same to you,
Why,
blessing.
I know you don't want to talk to me, but don't worry, when I meet you, we will talk. Matt, desperate times call for drastic and desperate measures. I want to deviate a little bit and come back because I heard Michael said something very interesting. Michael, don't you think based on our present predicament, now it's time for some form of amalgamation, Michael? Michael, you don't have to answer, but talk to Bosso. Michael, talk to Bosso. Michael, we need you. I mean, a kind of resourceful person like you for Matt to bring you, they're talking about the Wasco alone. I vexed already. So that's why I inserted, Michael, don't you think it is time for some amalgamation? Because as I said, desperate times call for drastic and desperate measures. Michael, you said something having to do with the Wasco and not submitting some audit report. And all of a sudden, some kind of exorbitant cost in the increase of our water bills. My brethren, and that's why I'm saying Dominica need effective leadership, militant leadership, vigilant leadership. So if I can do any little thing, and because I'm a nobody, police can be dragging me, and maybe then just let me go like Bosso. They figure Bosso is nobody. Or Bosso is not licking up to them. And then they that are committing the real crimes against the state, violating the laws and the Constitution. Michael, isn't that a violation of the law or the Constitution? Which one of them? If it's supposed to be done in a proper procedure, where before you could just come and say, well, as a company, you need more money, without submitting some report, without auditing your books and make the public see there is transparency, there is accountability. Isn't that illegal, Michael? And what can be done to really counterattack that level of violation? And in closing, Matt, you remember I tell you about the reserve in the Wasco, because they say any surplus, they will have it in a reserve, Matt. And I was asking you, Matt, who is going to determine, because the reserves would be for an emergency. And I said, yes. Matt, do you believe Mr. Etinoff will have nothing to do with what is an emergency? Because it might just be, well, I need some money to pay NEP and it's an emergency, Matt. Michael is making the same observation. So, Michael, please remember, Michael, the amalgamation. And, Michael, is it that illegal, that level of violation, without any submission of an audit report, and you just come in and hit the people with a big bill like as if it's resort? Why we need something to happen in that country. Blessing to you, Michael.
So, Michael, what's the way forward? If all of the questions you've asked this afternoon, what's the way forward?
I think Dawasco is obligated to come clean with the people. They need to hold back that increase, and they need to give an account. If they don't do that, they will put themselves in dire straits. I know that Dawasco has to be, they need funds for their reserves, for them to deliver their services. That is important. But the fact that they fail to honor the act says you shall have audited statements. You shall present the audited statement to the minister, and the minister don't have to approve it. He shall present it to the House of Assembly, which makes it public. It is not public. So why are you going to the public and ask them for money? If the public doesn't need to know what you're doing, why are you going to them for money? And you are violating your trust. You have violated the trust of the people by failing to give an account. That is simple as that. Matt, it's like spending people money and not accounting. You account, yes, the auditor have an audited statement, but the people need to know, and the only way the people can know is present to Parliament. You mentioned they asked, was it Rayburn Blackmore, a question, and he failed to act? He should be in contempt. They should, I know they would, if they have to put it to the vote, they will always free him. But the people 10 years ago need to know that a Minister of National Security named Rayburn Blackmore failed to tell the people what he was charging, what he was being charged to persecute opposition people, when one of them went scot-free and the others was costing taxpayers X, Y, and Z. If he was made to pay that money, he would never do that. But you see, he is violating the Constitution. Now, the Constitution, Matt, is not a legal document. It's an agreement between you and your government. Okay? So it's written in simple language. Okay? And when they tell you somebody shall do something in the statement, they can't do otherwise in the Constitution. It's a simple agreement between the government and the people. And basically, it was explained to me, I'm not a lawyer, that all constitutions are written knowing the politician is a son of a bitch. So to protect the people, you have a constitution. And they have PSCs, permanent secretaries, who act to shield and defend the people against the politician. Not because a prime minister or minister tell you, pay that money to a contractor. You have to pay it. If he didn't deliver the work that he contracted to do, then you cannot pay it as the PS because you are responsible to give an account of the public's money.
But Michael, the question is, 6 days away, and you're asking people to pay, and you, as you said, these accounts have not been presented to Parliament as audited statements.
Yeah.
What do the people do?
Is there mismanagement? Is there fraud? Is there anything that the auditor observed that we do not know? And now you go into the people, look, somebody called and said they gave somebody a job who wasn't a plumber, okay? And they talk about delays, how they call it? Unforeseen delays.
Somewhere in the pen,
Right.
yes.
You know, I mean, and you take a loan of $6 million. What sort of thing is that? You cannot do something like that and hold the people accountable. You as a management team have to account for the people. The contractor has to deliver, you pay him. If he doesn't deliver, you ask him to deliver what he was contracted to do. Now, if he made an error in his estimate, you could get quantities of it. Indeed, he made an error. He did spend the money, he did do the work, but we underestimated and allow him to do that. I can understand those things happen sometimes, okay? But to do it and not present it to Parliament, it begs the question.
And you're asking the people to pay.
Yes.
Unnecessary.
if they did not deliver those things as required by law to Parliament, first of all, they shouldn't even go to the minister. The minister should tell them, hey, where the audited statement. Now, if the minister is holding it, Dowasco may be free, Dowasco may be above board, they give the minister, and the minister seeing negative things, they hold it, You know how it is. You know how it is.
Let's take a few phone calls.
Or the minister haven't opened the envelope yet.
Hello, talk to me. Maybe the minister doesn't understand. Yes.
Should the people simply refuse to pay?
Should the people refuse to pay?
Well, if all the people refuse to pay, Dowasco is back to where they were. Okay? If everybody decide to pay what is they normally pay, then Dowasco might come and close it down, even if they are being, even if the company and the minister has violated the agreement with the people. So the people have every right. The people have every right to take them up on that, to go to them and demand a meeting. We have every right.
Michael, we have 6 days.
Well, but they didn't give us time, Mark. Look, that is what is the date on that? May the 3rd, Mark. You're giving people 30 days to digest a thing. I trying to get information for 2 weeks. I can't get it on Dowasco. I cannot get it on the statement.
So you're saying they should suspend at this time?
But of course, you cannot. The minister, first of all, we need to go to the minister responsible for communication. And why did you approve that? Why you didn't give us more time? Where is the reports? You cannot do that. But these fellows believe they're above board. If I go there and I demonstrate in Dowasco cannot charge those things, I want to see the minister. They may call security for me. But I will do it and go and talk to the minister and hear what he says. Because I have to respect the minister. He may have his reasons why he approved it.
But we need to see it. We need to see it.
Yeah, but he cannot approve it knowing that is going to damage some small businesses. Because a small business paying $30 and you tell them now they have to pay $130. For some small businesses, that is 5 pounds of flour they may use for a week to make their bakes, man.
Well, let's take a phone call. Interested. Hello, yes?
Yes, Matt, it's me again.
Yes, let's do that quickly.
You know something?
Yes.
Matt, we're talking about water problems and water shortages. I recall, Matt, that there is a place in Marigot called Jeffrey Gutter. That since I was a little boy, we've been getting water from that just flows from beneath the earth. It just flows constantly like a river. I remember that attempts were made to capture that water and either use it commercially or sell it. Now, do you know this same Labour Party government scoffed at the idea because it was not brought by, in fact, it was brought by a candidate for the Marigot constituency, that water lying there could be utilized, but only very much like the crusher that they now have destroying Marigot. Marigot is not supposed to have industry. And this is the way the country is run. Because it is something that is going to benefit not the inner circle of the Labour Party. They don't have use for it, or they scoff at it. Very much like when I was in Dominica, I had interaction with a Chinese Jamaican guy who wanted to be provided with at least 2-trailer load of agricultural products per week.
I think you're going off the tangent now. Let's come back to the subject. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Matt, there was something that Michael said, and he said it en passant.
Yes.
And it is not really, maybe he didn't think of it, because he said that his friend is now the Speaker of the House. When this friend was dismissed, when this friend the case against him was dropped, and he was elevated to the level of Speaker of the House, such a high position in our Parliament, he might have been the same person to straighten out certain parliamentarians and force them to speak the truth, at least. And in the case of Blackmore, when he refused to talk about the $10 million, look who was sitting in the seat of the Speaker. the same person who this case was dropped against, Matt. How far have we gone, Matt? Enough said.
He should have reclused himself and let the deputy act during that part. If I were the Speaker of the House and that had come up, I would recluse myself as Speaker and as the deputy in this matter. Since I was part and parcel of the program, I want you to deal with it. Okay? It's because there's a massive conflict of interest. Okay? And I think that is the way it should have been dealt with. Because this is another problem that we have. Where there's conflict of interest, people don't declare their interest, and at the end of the day, taxpayers have to pay tremendously for that. So this is a problem that we have, and we need to address, in particular, conflict of interest when it deals with certain matters. Okay? Prime Minister always speaks to it, and he thinks it's all right if a laborite applies for a job and you apply, that if he give it, he will always give it to the laborite. But the question is the competencies and qualifications of the person. That is what that has to bear. And as a responsible manager of the country, he needs to let the best person for the job get the job, because he represents all Dominicans, those who support him and those who do not. He would be violating his rules. That's why we have a public service commission, and I think they have a new name for it, where that's supposed to interview and employ the most qualified persons for jobs needed by government. We have to respect that. We're a small country, we know everybody, but we cannot let politics govern all our actions. We cannot do that at all. We want our country to be better for our children in the future, and we have to be open and transparent, and we have to give an account.
All right, news just coming in indicate that the British Prime Minister has announced elections for July 4th, 2024. So Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister of Britain, has just announced elections July 4th. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Are you there, caller?
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. In terms of the Dominican need a Freedom of Information Act. That's where our problem is. Information is not being made available on a timely basis to the public.
Okay.
And this is a clause that we need to put in that constitution. Also, the ombudsman was supposed to be a creature of the constitution. And again, the constitution said there shall be one. And after 45 years, there's no ombudsman. So we cannot make representation when you have an issue to an ombudsman to look at problems and solve problems. So I see even constitutional reform needs to be done in Dominica if we really have to move forward. And I have a number of areas that need to do reform. The election of the president is supposed to be by the people. Constituency, 13 of them. You have too many constituencies in Dominica. 70,000 people can have 21 constituency. And that's where the problem of management starts. Okay?
All right, caller. Thank you very much. We have to wrap up, though. Yeah?
I will deal with his last point. If you look at our constitution, the last chapter says that there shall not be more persons in any constituency, plus or minus a small percentage. So, in other words, all constituencies must have the same amount of persons, barring transportation. Right now, that is not the issue. Communication is in this AI period of electronics and so, that shouldn't be a problem. So, the Prime Minister cannot be representing vehicles, have 1,100 votes, and Rayburn Blackmore have 4,000 votes in Mahu or the Rosenhoff constituency of Danny Luque, he has almost the same amount of votes. So it means you have 4 times the representative. But if the constituencies all had 5,000, right, which is reasonable, then we would have less than 10 constituencies, okay? Because you would need to set a minimum per constituency. A constituency should have between 3,000 and 4,000 people. Okay, you cannot have a constituency that have less than 1,000. Or you can go to parliament, you have 600 votes, you end up being the prime minister, and somebody who have 3,000 votes. You understand? That doesn't mean because you have most votes, you should be prime minister. You should be the leader of the party and you command the respect of everybody, okay, to be the prime minister. Okay, so there's massive issue. I want to speak to something that was mentioned. Okay, freedom of information. Matt, when they were going to pass the IPO Act, Pierre Charles was the minister. Herbert Sabroch got the act from 3 countries. And part of the integrity in public office was freedom of information and whistleblowing protection. You know what is whistleblowing protection? If you're a public servant and you see a minister and a private sector stealing from the public and you sell them out, you expose them, they cannot fire you. They call that whistleblowing protection. And freedom of information is anything the public do is public information. If you're working for the public and you have public trust, you need to make sure you're open and transparent and make things available. And that is the problem. And Rayburn Blackmore has violated this, the freedom of information, and the House, he has violated the people, because you need to answer questions honestly in the House. And he was dishonest. And he should be challenged and censured. And Mr. Speaker, I'm not in the House and I have no post, but as a friend, you should ask the Minister of National Security to be honest with the people. He lied to the people by not telling us how much money we paying to prosecute the members of the opposition. Okay? And that is clear. They treat the opposition like it's not part of government. If you read the Constitution, it says the leader of the opposition is a member of parliament. Our government is made of the ruling party and the opposition. And you hear the Prime Minister talk like he's disrespectful to the people, because you represent the people in opposition and he represents us. Even if I didn't vote for him, he represents me on a lot of matters. Okay? And he must recognize that when you campaign for election, Matt, you campaign for your party. When you win, you represent everybody. Okay? And if you're in opposition, you represent everybody.
Michael, 60 seconds remaining here. What do we do with the new bills from Dawasco?
Matt, we need to go to the minister responsible for Dawasco and ask him seriously, why did he approve those measures? Because the measures will be detrimental, especially on small business. Small business but the 50% increase for the 23,000 customers. That seems to be one of his biggest problems. Also, that the fact that Dawasco didn't table. Why didn't he table the audited statements to Parliament? What is the reason? You didn't table it, Mr. Minister. Why are you approving those rates for us? We need to go to him and ask him those questions. These are serious things. Matt, you telling the people, partner, my man, yeah, man, it's okay. I approve. He approved. Next thing, Dawasco comes with it. And we're finding out that there are no audited statements online. Something is wrong. We need to have our statements online every year so we can ask questions.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Michael
Astafan.
Astafan. Very revealing information this afternoon. What will we do as a people is the next question. Tomorrow.
It's just around the corner. Yes, the countdown is on for the Grand Dominica Economic Revival Summit. Get your tickets, secure your tickets. Register today at 285-5585. The clock is already ticking. For the next few days, go to the summit website at www.da/econsummit.com. The final days for registration is Friday, May 24th. Remember, the clock is ticking.
online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
Then you're on your way.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Why pay full price for your mobile when you can pay half? Just bundle your home internet and mobile services with Flow and save 50% on your mobile bill. That's money in your pocket every month. Plus, now you get free YouTube and WhatsApp data. And you can share your plan with up to 3 other numbers. Upgrade now and get a free smartphone. Switch and keep your number. Learn more at discoverflow.co.
When you share $50,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs, $1,000 in cash every single week. Home surround sound system, groceries, small appliances, smartphones, Bluetooth speakers, carnival tickets, and more. Wait, there is more. You could also be the grand prize winner of a $10,000 Visa cash card. Swipe all you like. All you have to do is top up $10 or more. Sign up for any new service from Flow, pay your bills in full, or switch to Flow. And you too can win more.
Get more.
How we live? Hybrid life. Living on the hybrid life. What you feeling? Living on the hybrid life. It's not about time we now watch phone bill. No. That's with the contract is a sure thing. How with the new flow plan name? If you don't know about it, then they better slide in. How we live? Hybrid life. Living on the hybrid life. What you feeling? Hybrid life. Living on the hybrid life. Jump in at the hybrid life. Living on the hybrid life. What you feeling? Hybrid life. Living on the hybrid life.
With Flow's new hybrid plan, postpaid and prepaid come together as one, with no overages, no contract, no deposit, and no catch.
Hybrid.
Bundle up now and get 30 gigabytes of data and unlimited phone calls for only $55 per month, plus a discounted smartphone.
You see the new phone plan that Flow made? You could turn postpaid to prepaid.
Hurricane season can be unpredictable, but your business doesn't have to be. In the face of adversity, you need a partner that goes above and beyond. Choose the path of resilience and certainty with CNW Business. Through disaster recovery as a strategy solution, CNW Business will safeguard your critical data, maintain seamless communication channels, and help you bounce back faster than ever before. Visit our website, cwcbusiness.com/myopenbusiness to learn more. Remember, a safe business is an open business.
Catch the new vibe and the lingo. More pan, more say the tingo. Is more with Flow if you didn't know. All these deals is a winner. More pan, more with Flow. More data, more talk for sure. More WhatsApp, video cast app, unlimited talk, so you not stop chat.
Flow prepaid combo plans just got better, loaded with even more data and unlimited talk. Take advantage of WhatsApp and all its features with our new prepaid plans. Unleash your creativity with more social media. Dial *129 to activate.
Now that's the new vibe and the lingo. Yes. More pan, more say the tingo. It's more with Flow, now you really know. Get you now. All these deals make you save more. Get more.
Roseau, you are now fiber ready. Enjoy faster speeds and bigger savings on Dominica's most reliable network. Sign up now or upgrade to a Flow Fiber internet package and get 1 month free internet service. Add a postpaid mobile to your package and save 50% off your mobile bill every month. Plus, get a smartphone absolutely free. Roseau, are you ready for the Flow Fiber fast internet experience? To feel the speed, visit the Flow flagship store or call 440-3569 for more information.
When a stroke occurs, you have 60 minutes to win or lose the race of your life. There are new treatments, but you must get to the hospital fast. If you suddenly feel weakness on one side or have trouble speaking, walking, or seeing, it could be a stroke. Call 911 or 999. Get to the hospital because How you spend the next 60 minutes could determine how you spend the rest of your life. Stroke. Know the signs. Act in time. A message from the Ray Astor Foundation in partnership with Flo Dominica.
Roots Rock Bar and Grill presents Reggae Night Wednesday, each and every Wednesday, featuring selector urban and special guest DJs, 9 p.m. till very late. Drink specials, Roots Rock Bar and Grill in Tata. See you there.
Our sponsorship of the ICC World Cup Cricket, it's not just another opportunity to put our brand out there. It's about fostering a sense of community, celebrating the universal language of sport. We believe in the power of sport to inspire, unite, and uplift, just like our commitment to provide seamless connectivity to our customers. We are ecstatic to launch this very new, exciting campaign, which allows you to win big with Flo this summer.
Yo, Flo got good news for you. Here's your chance to win an all-expense paid trip to the T20 Cricket World Cup Finals in Barbados. Get VIP treatment from the airport to the games. Here's how to qualify. Activate a prepaid combo plan, pay your bill in full and on time. Sign up for any postpaid or fixed bundle, or you could switch to Flo. Lots of prizes to be won. Free service, phones, shopping vouchers, trip to Barbados, and not forgetting the People's Fed, tickets to Breakfast Fed. Only with Flo.
Get the family and crew all in. Connect 444. All you need to do is bundle your fixed service with your mobile service and connect 4 persons. That's right. Connect 4 persons and receive a handset at only $4.
Boom. Hit it to 6. Sign up for any of our standalone broadband packages between May to August and pay only $6 for the first month.
Strike with confidence, thump out, and switch to stay connected like a boss.
We're hitting beyond the boundary.
This is we. This is we. This is we. This is we. This is we.
This is we. This is we.
This is we. This is we.
This is we.
This is we.
This is we.
This is we. This is we.
This is we.